Is that literally it? Like, sure. I'm thinking there must be more than that, surely.
This is a hit piece and you have your mind made up. Why else would you put...
I'm pretty sure that Dave Portnoy is like a misogynistic guy. And also the paper didn't reach out to him either. Makes it sound like she's tricking people into having a conversation with her. Do they think that he's going to be at these pizza festivals around women, like, raping them? This weekend, New York will host Dave Portnoys One Bite Pizza Festival. Participating pizzerias have had to navigate buzz around the festival and backlash against Barstool Sports founders' controversial remarks and allegations of sexual misconduct. Okay, and what's this?
Hey, Emily, this is Dave Portnoy calling. I'm recording you right now, but I've noticed a bunch of people. It seems like you're sending. We have this pizza fest happening on Saturday, and you're reaching out to our advertisers, and you're basically sending an email that says, to the effect, Dave's a misogynist, racist. Do you want to defend yourselves advertising at this event, right?
I'm sorry, what's your name, Dave? I'm sorry, who are you?
I'm the guy you're writing the article about, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, you're Dave Portnoy. Oh, hey, how are you?
Good.
Good. No, I'm not. I haven't said anything like that.
Joe will naively say they're just asking questions. I mean, what depends? I mean, if a reporter is, engaged in dishonest or lies or something like that, not only is that wrong, but also he's got recourse under the law. He can file like a defamation suit and whatnot, right? So,
well, I can read if you want. If you want, I can read what you actually sent. I have it.
Yeah, read, because I sent a bunch of notes, so I want to make sure I know which one.
Okay. We are planning to write about the festival and how some of the sponsors and participants have drawn criticism by seemingly to associate themselves with Dave Portnoy, who has a history of misogynic comments and other problematic behavior. I want to make sure that Blank had a chance to respond to this, since the company is the most prominent and they're partners of his festival.
Oh, that's the one I sent to, which was definitely the most pointed of them, because I really did want them to respond, and I was hoping to get something from them.
Do you think that's fair? Like, I totally disagree with the assertions of what you said, that misogynic and all that stuff. So
is he meaning to say misogynistic? Is that right? Misgenic, I don't even, is misgenic even what? He means misogynistic. Okay, that's fine.
Like, it kind of backs people into a corner. So I'm happy to go over.
He is so misogynistic, he doesn't even know how to say the word. It's that irrelevant to him.
Anything, I mean, that is pretty pointed. You said you didn't do it. Then I have the exact evidence of you doing it. So
no, I didn't say I didn't do that. I said I did. That was the one that was the most pointed.
Well, no, before I provided proof, you said you didn't really remember doing that. And then I read it to you and you're like, oh yeah, I did it that one time. So you did do it. I'm happy to talk about the comments, because to me, it's kind of like torturous interference. Like, we're doing an event. Everyone's happy about the event. I've raised $50 million for small business. I've helped pizzas. None of that. It's Dave's misogynic and problematic, and I'm happy to talk about it, because to me, nobody would like if someone's going around sending that email to their sponsors. And again, you're not like questioning. It's almost like a statement of fact. This is what I am.
Yeah. So I do want to talk to you about this. And I just want you to know that the story I'm working on with a colleague. And I want to kind of loop him on this, because we did want to talk to you. And we were
when were you going to?
So if I'm understanding correctly, then I'm just trying to understand what the issue is, or the complaint or criticism. So he's not happy with the fact that the journalist is sending messages to advertisers, and that he's claiming that she is stating that he is these things rather than asking questions about it. Is that right?
Going to reach out.
We were planning on doing it tomorrow morning, but
so you're going to write the article and then give me, like, I've had that a bunch. People write a full article and then give me the points after.
We're doing a bunch of reporting, and we wanted to make sure that when we finally did talk to you, we could really kind of present what, or talk about things more fully based on
like what? Like, it sounds like you have your opinion made of me based on that email.
No.
So then how, if you don't have your opinion made of me, how do you say in an intro email, Dave Portnoy has a history of misogynic comments and other problematic behavior? That's how you introduce.
The Washington Post says Dave Portnoy is homophobic. Here's the totality of the evidence. In 2016, he wrote that he was no homo for thinking former Jets quarterback Christian Hackenberg was handsome. Is that literally it? Like, sure. I'm thinking there must be more than that, surely. Jesus, that's pretty fucking shit, isn't it?
Produce the email.
Yeah. So look, I just want you to know that this is no, I want to talk to you about this, but
don't you think you should talk to me before sending that email?
What I wanted to do is I wanted to talk to you when we were going to have some specific questions for you, and so I wanted to kind of have the full idea of what we.
That's not a full idea. Like anybody who's rationally reading that email being sent to an advertiser would have to be like, this is a hit piece and you have your mind made up. Why else would you put? No, you call me in the intro. I'll say it again. Dave Portnoy has a history of misogynist comment.
Do we have the like what was the thing that she said? What did she send to this this advertiser? Because as someone said in chat, like someone asking about like a public figure or whatever is fine. But if there's like statements that are more as facts, like if you're writing an article and you send a letter to an advertiser in the course of writing that article claiming that someone is a thing, or are they saying that that is what he is? And the question is, why are you working with someone who is misogynistic?
And other problematic behavior. You didn't say, Dave.
Okay, wait. So he's reading it there.
Who's rationally reading that email being sent to an advertiser would have to be like, this is a hit piece and you have your mind made up. Why else would you put? No, you call me in the intro. I'll say it again. Dave Portnoy has a history of misogynist comments and other problematic behavior. You didn't say Dave Portnoy raised $50 million for small business. Dave Portnoy saved thousands of pizza places.
Well, here's the thing: does he have a history of that or not? I don't like, you know, the difficulty here is I'm pretty sure that Dave Portnoy is like a misogynistic guy. I thought that was his whole shtick with Barstool Sports. That homophobia thing was just really fucking weak. Like what, some one comment from years ago of no homo. Yeah, that's extremely weak. I know what miscegenation is, but I think he means misogynistic. I don't think they're questioning his race mixing takes.
You didn't mention, you said it in a way that is putting sponsors on the defensive.
So what I'm worried about.
Yeah, the part of this that I don't like is the reaching out to sponsors with, like, the behavior here seems to indicate, I would agree, like this mentality of trying to, you know, fuck with this little event that they've got going on, right? Like the tone of this seems to be more so along that, rather than bringing to light him doing some sort of misogynistic statement or comment. I mean, like I say, I'm already kind of got the impression that he is some sort of misogynistic dude. So yeah, I don't really understand what the purpose of the article is. Participating preachers will have to navigate buzz around the festival and backlash against the Barstool Sports founders' controversial remarks and allegations of Is this a thing? Was there a backlash against Dave Portnoy because of this?
Contact you. I was worried.
Anyway, listen, let's try and listen
raised
to this.
$50 million for small business. Dave Portnoy saved thousands of pizza places. You didn't mention, you said it in a way that is putting sponsors on the defensive.
So what I'm worried about when we contact you, I was worried that we would have sort of one shot to talk to you, right? And so what I wanted to do is make everything that we wanted to talk to you about before I reached out to you. That's why I was waiting to call you.
Because you wanted to have everything together before you talk to me. I got to be honest, this sounds like something who's going to hit me last second, be like comments on all this negative stuff.
No, this is kind of standard journalistic stuff. Like,
unfortunately, yes.
Talk about stuff.
I have been an open book and willing to sit down with anybody at any time. And this all stems, by the way, from a guy who wrote an article that for 13 years, 13 years has been tweeting negatively about me because he doesn't like me. So half the stuff he talks about didn't even exist. The guy doesn't like me, and now you're going to run with this on the Washington Post. And anybody who's listening to this to think you were going to give me a fair chance when you're leading to our sponsors before you talk to me is crazy.
Okay. Can we set up a time to talk tomorrow? Would that be okay? Like, I want to talk to you. I really do. I just want to make sure, like, I've got all my questions ready and stuff to talk to you about. Would that be okay? Can we set up a time?
I want to see the article before you do it.
No, it's not really. We can't do that. And
Why
also,
can't
like,
you do? Why can't you do that? Because all I do is I validate all the stuff you're about to make up against me. I have been hit with the same things over and over, and they're all so wildly out of context. It's insane to say at this point in the game when you've already written to the sponsors. Let me say it again. Dave Portnoy has a history of misogynist comments and other problematic behavior. I catch you off guard on a phone call, and now you're like, no, we planned on talking to you tomorrow. Like the Washington Post, which is a wildly left-leaning publication, you have things you've said.
What is, okay, this is the thing, in terms of like a journalistic endeavor, what is the point of messaging the sponsors something like that? Why? Do your fucking report. I guess they're looking for comment. I guess they're looking for some sort of comment for them on working with this bad misogynist dude, Dave Portnoy.
Hate Trump, you hate Elon. Not that I'm those people. To think you're going to give me a fair shake. I wasn't born yesterday.
I mean, I wanted to talk to you, and as part of my reporting, like, we haven't written this story. We won't have written it by the time we talk to you. Like, this is talking to you, I would hope, is going to be a big part of our reporting and a big part of the story. So I'm really hoping I do that, but I want to give you a chance. If we're going to, anything specific we're going to include in the story, but I just don't have it all in front of me because I'm working with another reporter, and I want to make sure that we have as full a conversation as we can.
What was the thesis of this article you're writing?
I don't work with theses. I'm just reporting. It's just, you're an interesting guy. You have an interesting role in this industry, and we just want to look at it. That's all.
It seemed like you were going to try to shame sponsors for being associated with me and put them in a box when I know they all love me, but nobody wants the Washington Post writing an article, sponsor associated with misogynic, racist piece of shit. Nobody wants that. That's what you're trying to do. And even on this call, it's pretty.
It certainly does come across that way. I don't understand why you would reach out to a sponsor for some sort of what is this festival even? One Bite Pizza Festival, to question why they're working with someone in this way, unless it is to achieve that outcome. And if someone's got an alternative, I'll happily hear it. Like, what is the journalistic reason to do that? What aspect of the story are you trying to flesh out or get into by making that connection?
Be clear, that's what you were trying to do. You don't have the facts for me.
What I might have said on this call that would give you that impression. All I've said on this call.
Well, we started the call. We started the call with you saying you never said anything negative, and then I read back an email like, "Oh, I did on that one."
I said that I sent a number of emails, and that one was the most pointed because I was really trying to press them to respond. But I really, in what I've been asking people about, I'm just asking people what they're doing. I'm just asking people about, how they came to participate and how they view it. That's
now, but you could have just as easily said, what's your involvement? Are you proud to be involved with somebody who has done so much for the pizza and service industry, right? That could have been an email.
Can we set up a time tomorrow to talk? I mean, really, I want to get into all of it.
Well, I don't know if I trust you yet, so I'd want more. I want to see everything that you've been asking these people.
Because this is the thing, right? This is the thing. If there's like some genuine backlash around it, then maybe there's questions to ask there. I've not seen or heard of any backlash about this particular event. And normally with these sorts of things, you would see it all over Twitter and people talking about it. Dave Portnoy is something of a prominent figure in these kind of arenas, but Barstool Sports is pretty big. So it does come across a little bit like they're trying to generate a story. So they're messaging these fucking places. Yeah, like, where's the backlash? Where's the backlash exactly?
People, like, again, I don't think there's any, generally why I don't do this at the last minute is because if you really wanted to get my perspective, it wouldn't be me calling you. You would have already reached out to me in a fair manner. Hey.
Oh wait, also the paper didn't reach out to him either. He's the one that's had to contact them. That doesn't make any sense. Normally the person you're writing about would have like some right to response.
I got a call that came in the middle of it.
Oh, no worries. Okay. No, I was just saying I was going to call you. I really wanted to talk with you. I want to have a really full conversation. That's why. So what time?
I'm more than willing to have an open conversation about anything if the article is not written. I'm afraid with what I'm seeing already here, all it does is it validates a hit piece.
I swear. I have.
The Washington Post also, what's the name of that guy? He does the video game stuff. Nathan Grayson. Is that it? Nathan Grayson. Is that the guy that sucks off a son? Does he work for Washington Post as well? Do people know who I'm talking about?
Have not written the story, believe me.
Have you made your mind up about me?
We're in the reporting phase. I don't, I can't, not for me to say, and I'm working with somebody else.
But that seems like a pretty straightforward question. Have you made your mind up about me? If you can't answer that, no.
I can say I have not made my mind up about you.
Then why would you include that in the email to sponsors?
Because I was hoping for a dialogue with them. Sometimes you have to say something like, this is like, it's sort of a reporting tactic. When you want someone to respond, you kind of have to indicate.
Not good language to use.
Negative, and then you get them to engage. That's all I was trying to do.
It makes it sound like she's tricking people into having a conversation with her. Jesus Christ. This is crazy.
I wanted them to engage with me.
That is a sad state of journalism if that's a tactic that you have to, what I would say is make up something about somebody.
That there might be something negative, and so you want to give people a chance to respond.
If you're reaching out as like a journalist to someone in that situation, it's not entirely unreasonable that you might want to probe a bit. If you want to find out information, but you are front loading it very heavily when you go in there and your first comment is, the misogynistic, whatever he says, remarks.
And have a conversation with you. That's what I was trying to do.
But at the same time, you're saying you don't know that that's actually truth. So you're leading with something that you haven't done enough research to know if it's valid.
I'm saying there might be a fuller picture. And that's what I want to talk to you about. And I want to set up a time tomorrow morning, maybe. Like 10? Are you free at 10?
I got to do more research on you. I still don't have the vibe that you're going to give me any sort of fair shake.
Okay. Well, that's fair. I can tell you, and let me tell you the name if you want to look into me. You want to look. My colleague that I'm working with on the story, his name is Tim Carmen. He's also a food reporter at the Post. And I'd love for both of us to be on the call and just, we can talk. I am happy to, I definitely want some on the record stuff, but if there's stuff you want to tell me on background or off the record, we can talk about all.
No, I'm always on the record. There's nothing I would ever say that is off the record.
I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so maybe you want to say tentatively 10 o'clock tomorrow?
Yes, I'll confirm tentatively. Now, the one thing I'd always ask, just like this is being recorded, I would record the...
Well, listen, I know people maybe aren't liking Dave's tone or whatever here, but you can imagine it's pretty frustrating that you're trying to do this event, which it seemingly is like some effort to promote small businesses or something along those lines. And then some fucking retard from the Washington Post is like talking about misogynistic comments. Like, yeah, it's pretty reasonable that he's irritated and frustrated by this. He's posturing for his audience. I mean, he's seemingly releasing this video in response to their article. Right? Is that right?
The interview tomorrow.
I didn't have a chance to hit record. So I'm not recording this call, but I get that you are. That's totally fine. I always anticipate that, you know, what I'm saying is going to be recorded or be used. I get that.
Okay. So that is a good step in establishing some degree of trust. So if you're fine with me recording tomorrow, then let's do 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay. Do you want to call me on this number?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Okay, great.
All right.
All right. We'll talk tomorrow at 10.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Okay. And then there's a bit more information in the note here. They agreed to do an interview the next day, but WAPO cancelled. Yeah, seems pretty bad. Barstool and Portnoy are obviously very controversial, but then they're kind of like quite publicly controversial. I'd be surprised if people that are working with him don't know some of the controversy. I'm presuming they do it knowing he's got a controversial past and has made some choice comments. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know what the comments are that he's made. I just know in my head vaguely that he's made misogynistic comments and done shitty things vaguely, you know? But like the idea that I would take that, say, and go to some random fucking event he does promoting pizza places or something. I don't even know what the One Bite Festival is. Yeah. Woke Skull journalist giving Dave a win. True. Did I? Did I cover a rape review? I cover so many, it's difficult to know. But I think if it had been an actual decent rape, I probably would remember him more as a raper. But I don't remember thinking of him as a raper. So I doubt it was actually that good an accusation. Can anyone remind me? Ring a bell? I can't. I honestly cannot remember talking about this guy allegedly raping. Oh, was it a fuckboy thing? Ah, okay. Yeah. Got it. Not that I remember it, but that makes sense. He flew someone out. Oh, was it Instagram messages? Oh, fuck, it's on the tip of my brain. I'm sure of it. I spoke about the XQC stuff earlier. But yeah, no, it seems like a shoddy piece of work from this particular person. What's the name of the person that wrote it? People keep saying she's an activist journalist. Emily Heel. Some don't agree with the Barstool Sports founder's statements, but they like what he does for business. That byline's a bit shady, isn't it? Of whatever it's called, the fuck sub headline. They like what he does for business. They're acting like it's well, he may be a raging misogynist, but he puts money in the tills. Like if you're a small business, you obviously, yeah, of course that's going to be a consideration for you. Jesus, is there a TLDR for this? Also, I mean, let him have his little pizza festival. I don't know. Why are they so concerned about this pizza festival? Is news that slow? This feels like me when there's not much going on, so I I don't know, look at some dumb shit. Look at some glup shito stuff or something. A few examples of many. Okay, here we go. But the Barstool site, which Portnoy's famously called Sports Smut, is no stranger to controversy, knows Portnoy himself. A few examples of many. In 2010, a blog post that has apparently since been deleted, Portnoy wrote that even though I never condone rape, if you're a size 6 and wearing skinny jeans, you kind of deserve to get raped, right? He later told the Huffington Post the comment was intended to be a joke and that he didn't intend to poke fun at rape, but rather at skinny jeans. The problem with stuff like this, what is the alternative interpretation to this? That he wants to rape. Like, I don't know why. Like, he's saying it's a joke, right? Yeah, I accept that. It's a joke. It's a stupid joke he made. Why the fuck? What? How else are you supposed to interpret this statement other than he's making a fucking perhaps tasteless joke? Nah, secretly he wants to rape and he's hiding it in jokes about skinny jeans. Fucking hell, man. This is nuts. In another blog post in 2014, he made sexist comments about ESPN host Samantha Ponder, including that her job was to make men hard. He defended his words, saying they were just part of an hour-long podcast in which Barstool criticised all sportscasters, according to Business Insider. In 2016, he wrote that he was no homo for thinking former Jets quarterback Christian Hackenberg was handsome. 2016, that was a pretty... I'm just trying to think. 2016, yeah, that was a kind of no homo. I'd have said no homo in 2016. I mean, I say it now, obviously, right? I'd say that now because it's a kind of funny meme. But like broadly, I don't know if 2016 was a time at which that would necessarily generate a massive amount of controversy. When I see 2016, I immediately think in my head 3-4 years ago because I don't know why. It just seems more recent. But it's not, is it? It's fucking 7 years ago. Getting closer to a decade. In 2016, a video segment surfaced by the Resist Programming Twitter account. Portnoy discussed NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem. I'm going to say something that's racist, Portnoy said. I thought he was an ISIS guy. Throw a head wrap on that guy and he's a terrorist. So this is literally just getting mad about obvious jokes. Am I understanding this correctly? After those comments stirred criticism, Portnoy released a video aimed mostly at Barstool employees in which he said the intent was to make people laugh. Is there anything actually substantive in any of this? In 2021, Insider.com published a story in which 3 women alleged that sexual encounters with Portnoy turned into frightening and humiliating experiences, and 2 additional women alleged that Portnoy choked and filmed them without advance permission. The news outlet published a follow-up article in 2022 in which 3 more women alleged that Portnoy filmed them during sex without asking. Portnoy denied all the allegations and led a campaign against Insider and some of its employees, deriding what he described as hit pieces. Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know this. He filed a defamation suit after the second story, although his lawsuit was dismissed, and the judge noted that Insider had corroborated the women's accounts with photographs, texts, and social media messages, videos, medical reports, police documents, an Uber receipt, and statements from at least 3 friends who saw or spoke to the women soon after the interaction with the plaintiff. Did I look at this? I can't even remember looking at this. Is anyone... This was debunked. That's quite the statement there. This was debunked. Nicholas D'Oreo made a video on this. I can't even remember looking at this. Too many rapes, not enough time. Since the One Bite Pizza Festival was announced in early August, some influencers, writers, and activists have been calling out pizzerias and sponsors participating in the nearly sold-out event. I appreciate this is a small event, right? But I didn't see any of this shit. Some of the biggest names in pizzas. Joe Rosenthal. Okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, okay? I just don't understand what, like, he's having a pizza festival. What? Why do they find it so necessary to be like, actually, you're having a pizza festival with Dave Portnoy. I think you should be aware that he said no homo a little while ago on the internet. I don't know, like, So because he's done things in the past, he can never have a pizza festival. Well, I was just thinking this actually. Okay, what if he rapes at the festival though? Then you're responsible. Like that's what I was just thinking in my head. Is like, do they think that he's going to be at these pizza festivals around women, like raping them? Does he think he's going to be filming himself having sex with women against their consent? I just don't get it. This gives me the same sort of energy as when people were like mad that Louis C.K. was getting gigs again as a comedian because they felt he wasn't adequately cancelled for the jerking off in front of women shit, you know? Do you remember? People were mad about that. And it's like, you know, you might really hate what Louis C.K. did, but if you know, if people want to book gigs for him after the fact, you know, I mean, what can you say? That's up to them at the end of the day. If people want to book him, if people want to book him for gigs and people pay for tickets to see him, that's up to them. So up to them. It's like, isn't there someone you forgot to ask? The angry social media mob does not feel Louis C.K. has been adequately punished, so you're not allowed to book him for shows. Well, the Louis C.K. thing was overblown. The Louis C.K. thing, he definitely, you know, it was inappropriate, you could say, but I don't think he raped. I just think the image is kind of insane. Hey, ladies, mind if I jerk it a bit in front? Well, that's the problem, isn't it? They claim they claim that he was blocking the door. That was the idea, that they literally couldn't leave because he was blocking the door. But they did say yes. But then it was because it was like an awkward situation rather than them like really wanting to see Louis C.K. jerk his cock. Well, I think from what I understand, he was stood up by the door doing it. So I think, in if anything, he probably finished and it kind of spurted out onto the floor, which is in itself a very pathetic display, isn't it? You know, like just stood there jerking off in front of two people and then just, you know, could you imagine how embarrassing that would be? Yeah, this is all very like, oh, he's done bad things a little while ago, but you've got a pizza festival with him. What do you think about that? Right to be frustrated about this. But he probably is some flavor of, well, even that, I don't even know. Is he a misogynist? Like, he's made. I mean, even the way they said it, misogynistic remarks. What they've presented here are clear jokes, which you might find unsavory and distasteful. Okay, here we go. Well, they've got some positive stuff here, but let's see what it says. And some support Portnoy, who they see as champion of small businesses. His pizza reviews, they say, can increase revenue by up to 50%. They point out his Barstool Fund has raised tens of millions of dollars to help restaurants and other small businesses during the pandemic. Santillo, for one, doesn't understand why critics are attacking him and others for siding with Portnoy. The guy's definitely controversial, and a lot of things he says I don't like. I'm not a normal follower of his because I'm pretty conservative myself, Santillo said in a phone interview. Nobody's all good and nobody's all bad, the owner continued. Right now, to me, his good points are outweighing his bad points. Everybody has a dark side, but basically don't shoot the piano player. I'm just a piano player here. Why do you want to shoot me for? That's based from this person. Who's that? Santillo, this Santillo guy. I mean, yeah, that's like the correct response, I think, in this situation, isn't it? That is the correct response. Yeah, he said some stuff I don't like and maybe done some stuff I don't agree with. But he's more positive than negative from me right now. Yeah, this kind of like, there is this like absolutist approach where if someone's done something bad or questionable or criticizable in the past, and therefore any any ongoing continuous association is something to be scrutinized and questioned. But yeah, it's very much the normie response. Anyway, yeah, seems very cringe and gay on behalf of this fucking activist journalist, as they're calling her. Yeah, I mean, there is obviously the element of, yeah, they condemn him for something he said years ago. Most of the wokies are like, these child molesters and criminals can change. Okay. To defend the wokies a bit, I think with child molesters, I think they're pretty hard on child molesters. Unless they're like pro pedo destigmatization. And criminals can change to redeem their trust of society, while they deny that a white man changed in 10 years. That's a double standard. Wokies and leftoids have got very weird takes when it comes to the kind of crime stuff, where they will like celebrate a rapist getting some sort of like karmic justice. They'll celebrate a white supremacist getting executed by the state, but someone could commit a violent gang shooting, and all of a sudden it's, oh well, economic circumstances, oh blah blah blah, all this stuff. Yeah, it's just it's this weird like instinct to defend like black criminality. I'm sorry to say it, but it is what it is, because of the racist undertones of history and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that as a dog whistle or something. Like, genuinely, there is this tendency to defend and justify or explain in detail why black criminals act the way that they do. But when it comes to other types of criminals,